Hi guys, welcome to the message. Um, yeah, this one is a little bit difficult and deep even for me. So, if I get a little emotional, yeah. One of the hardest things to do in this life is to let go of something that mattered to you without letting the pain of it make you harder. Because sometimes the loss is not about just losing the person, the connection, or the version of life that you had hoped for. Sometimes the deeper fear is what it does to your heart. You start asking yourself questions like, will I ever be as open again? Will I ever trust the same way again? Will I ever love without holding something back? Will I ever be soft again without feeling naive? And I think that's real because pain does change people. It can make you quieter, more guarded, more careful, and more distant from your own tenderness. And honestly, I understand why. When something hurts you deeply, there's a part of you that wants to protect what is left. A part of you that says never again. A part of you that wants to shut the door before anything else can come in to shake you like that. That response makes sense. But I also think but I also think there comes a point where you have to ask yourself something much deeper. Am I healing or am I becoming harder? Because those are not the same thing. Healing brings you back to yourself. Hardness takes you away from yourself. Healing can make you wiser. It can make you more discerning. It can teach you what your boundaries need to be. And it can teach you how to listen to your peace, how to honor your heart, and how to stop ignoring what feels off. But hardness is different. Hardness says, I will never care like that again. I will never feel that deeply again. I will never let anyone close enough to touch that part of me again. And I think for a while, that can feel like strength. But deep down, it's usually pain trying to become a personality. That's why I think letting go is not just about release. It's about how you release. Because you can let go in a way that keeps you connected to your truth. Or you can let go in a way that closes you off from life. And I don't think that we're meant to turn cold just because something hurt us. I don't think we're meant to confuse numbness with peace. I don't think we're meant to call bitterness wisdom just because it feels safer than being open. I think real healing asks something much more honest of us. It asks us to grieve what has hurt, to name what mattered, to be truthful about what we lost, and then to release it without deciding that love itself was a mistake. And that matters. Because sometimes what hurts people the most is not only what happened, it's the meaning that they attach to it afterwards. They start believing maybe I cared too much. Maybe I'm too open. Maybe I'm too hopeful. Maybe being soft is what got me hurt. But I don't believe that softness is the problem. Lack of discernment can hurt us. Ignoring ourselves can hurt us. Staying where our peace is disturbed can hurt us. Wanting people to be who they are not can hurt us. But having a heart, having depth, and having love to give, that is not a flaw. And that's important to remember when you're letting go. Because the goal is not to leave the experience with less heart. The goal is to leave with more truth. To say, this mattered to me. This affected me. This hurt. And I'm going to honor that honestly. But I'm not going to let this pain convince me to become someone I'm not. I'm not going to let it turn me bitter. I'm not going to let it make me ashamed of how deeply I felt. And I'm not going to let it train me to distrust every beautiful thing that may still want to meet me in the future. That, to me, is real strength. Not pretending you didn't care, not acting untouched, not making your heart smaller so you can feel safer, but letting yourself feel sadness of letting go while still protecting the goodness in you. And I think that's sacred, because letting go is painful enough to do. You don't need to lose your softness with it either. You also don't need to lose your capacity for love. You don't need to become someone suspicious of everything good. You can let go and still remain whole. You can let go and still remain warm. You can let go and still remain open in all the right ways. You can let go and still believe that your heart deserves beautiful things. And that does not make you weak. It means pain did not get to rewrite your nature. And I think a lot of people need to hear that right now. Because I've seen how easy it is after disappointment to start calling detachment maturity. To act like not caring is power. To act like shutting down is self-protection. And to act like becoming unreachable means you've healed. But healing does not make you less human. It makes you more honest. And sometimes honesty sounds like this. Yes, this hurt me. Yes, I need to let this go. Yes, there is grief here. Yes, I may need space, boundaries, distance, and clarity. But no, I will not let this turn me into someone cold. No, I will not let this make me disrespect my own heart. No, I will not let this pain convince me that feeling this deeply was a mistake. That kind of letting go is self-truth and self-respect, because it keeps your heart aligned with truth and honesty, not fear. And fear is what tries to harden people. Fear says, don't ever be like that again. Don't ever be that open again. Don't ever trust like that again. And don't ever hope like that again. But fear is just trying to prevent pain, not create peace. Peace comes from something much deeper. Peace comes from knowing that even if something ends, even if something disappoints you, even if something doesn't become what you had hoped for, you still don't have to abandon yourself. You still don't have to lose your center. You don't have to shut down your light. You don't have to become emotionally unavailable just because something painful happened. You can let go and stay rooted. And honestly, I think that's a beautiful way to heal. To be able to say, I release this. I bless what needs to go. I accept what is true. I honor what I felt. And I choose not to carry this in a way that poisons my future. That is different from pretending it didn't matter. Because it did matter. And that's why letting go hurts. But the fact that it mattered does not mean it is meant to be carried forever. Some things are meant to teach us, shape us, reveal us, and then be released. Not with hatred or self-denial, not with a hard heart, but with truth. And that's what makes letting go so mature. It's not dramatic, it's not loud. It's that quiet decision to stop feeding what you know no longer is meant to stay. To stop reopening what keeps you wounded, to stop calling attachment love, and to stop holding on to pain just because it once came wrapped in meaning. That's one of the hardest things to do. But it creates space. And that space matters. Because the heart needs room to breathe again. room to heal again, room to remember that release is not just the end of love. Sometimes release is love. Love for yourself, love for your peace, love for the truth, love that is mature enough to stop forcing what it no longer feels aligned. And that is where many people are at in this very moment. Standing in that uncomfortable place between what they feel and what they know. Still caring, but knowing they need to let go. Still grieving, but knowing that they can't keep carrying it like this. Still tender, but knowing something in them is asking for freedom. And that place is hard, but it is also holy. Because that is where you learn whether pain gets to harden you or deepen you. And I hope it deepens you. I hope it makes you wiser without making you cold. That it makes you more discerning without making you afraid of everything. I hope it makes you more rooted in yourself without making you unreachable. And I hope it teaches you how to protect your heart without punishing it for being a heart. Because your heart is not wrong for loving. It is not wrong for hoping or wanting connection. And it is not wrong for caring deeply. It deserves truth. It deserves reciprocity. It deserves peace. And it deserves connections that do not require you to become smaller, harder, or less alive. And when something cannot meet you there, letting go is not failure. Sometimes letting go is the most loving thing that you can do. Not because it didn't matter, but because it did matter. You don't have to become cold to move on. You don't have to shut down your heart to protect it. You don't have to become bitter to prove that you learned something. Let the lesson make you clearer. Let it make you wiser. Let it make you more honest about what you need and what you no longer will ignore. But do not let it take your softness. That softness is not weakness. It is a part of your beauty. It is a part of your humanity. It is part of you that will allow you to love well, create well, and live fully when the right thing meets you again. And they will. Let go without losing the goodness in you. So that's the message, guys. Yeah, what can I say about it? When that came to me, I had a few moments for myself, and I realized the truth about a lot of things that have been happening in my life and with other people. And, letting go can be the biggest act of love. It doesn't say that you didn't care, like I said. It doesn't say, this didn't matter. It says that I cared enough and I loved you enough to let this happen and to let you go. And I hope people can honor that and respect that and understand that it's true. Because if you really do care about somebody enough and you see that it's not healthy or situation is not healthy, you just have to let it go. Worry about yourself. Those other people, that situation, whatever, they'll be okay without you. They were okay before you, and they'll be okay after you. All right? Don't ever let it harden you. Don't ever let it take away your humanity or your compassion to love again. Or have faith or hope that something will be better again. Because it will. It always will be. All right? I want to thank my family, my friends, the divine, the universe. It's been a really, really long road and a really, really hard lesson to learn. But I'm so thankful that it did, because I can live with myself proudly every single day and smile and know that everything is going to be okay because I'm okay. My capacity to love is okay. My outlook on the future is going to be okay. And I have no regrets and no worries at all. But I do have a lot of love and compassion for everybody that has been a part of my journey, a reason for me realizing this, and the situations that I would not trade back for a moment, because every single one of them shaped me into who I am today, and I have the utmost respect for that. It wasn't easy. Some of it was really hard, and some of it sucked a lot. But again, I'm so thankful for every single one of those experiences, because they made me who I am in this very moment. And I love myself. I love myself more than I ever have. All right, guys. Have a great night, and stay tuned for the next message, because you never know what I'm going to say next. All right. Have a good night, guys.